Yo.
Yo.
What's up, man?
What's going on, man?
Not much. Tattoo baby set up my phone.
There we go. Now everybody's on here.
Shout out to Tattoo Bay at Verizon.
Can y'all hear
Yeah.
me? Yeah. Tim, you still good?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. Everybody hear me?
Right.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, we in here.
Bad. Let's go ahead and get the
About to get it, man.
festivities started. Just want to try to connect my headphones real quick to this phone. And we are rocking and rolling.
No, we can't hear you. Of course, we can hear you.
All right, everything is on all cylinders. Welcome to another edition of the Chronicles of Old Man Logan with my co-host KG, aka Hot Take Kenny,
I don't got
and
shit on this weather, though.
and the man known as Joe Willie. Alrighty. So now that we have gotten past our technical difficulties, gentlemen, are you enjoying the weather thus far on this Saturday afternoon?
Apparently, it's hot as fuck, and apparently there's some people around me enjoying it way more than I am.
I hear the vibes. I hear somebody got the music going. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that'll in about 2 minutes.
Okay.
My black ass inside.
Bro, it's too hot for me, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm out here hot, bro. Like, I'm not even trying to play with y'all right now. I'm out here super hot. Shoot, I sound like an ad lib on a Drake verse, bro. I'm out here too hot. I don't like super hot. Got the fro out and everything else, bro. Can't do it, bro. It's too hot.
You ready for the braids, man? You stepping it up, man?
Bro, I don't know how. I'm scared how it's gonna look because I want a little drapage. I don't know if it's gonna drape like the way I want it to.
Mm-hmm.
I think I had the struggle braids for a while, and I'm not happy about it.
I told you. I told you, Joe is like that fat girl that wants you to tell her she don't look fat.
I can't have that, bro. I can't have it. I gotta.
Some of my braids look good. You know, Robin gonna pump your head up. Oh, well, whatever. I'm pretty sure she ain't listening to this.
Edit that out.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she's not, listening to our wrestling podcast. But yeah, man. So what I'm gonna say first and foremost, let me go ahead and get these plugs out of the way. We are going to be talking about AEW's FYTER FEST, which is taking place tonight at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. It's going to be at the Daytona Beach Ocean Center in Daytona Beach, Florida. And it will be on the Bleacher Report live stream for free, as well as the FYTER FEST live stream. And that's going to be free as well. So we got the card here, courtesy of CBSSports.com. And yeah, man, we're going to go ahead and get into it. Y'all ready?
Yeah.
So this is, why it was integral to have both of you guys on here, because I am not familiar with everybody that's on AEW just yet. So it'll be moments where I'm just quiet and winging it and letting them do their thing, guys, the people that tune in. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get this thing started. First match we are going to talk about is SCU versus Best Friends versus Private Party.
SCU!
Sorry. You gotta do it that way. Every time that happens, bro, you gotta say SCU really loud. Kenny knows why you gotta do that. Hot Take knows you gotta do that. You got to do that. Every time you say SCU, but you gotta say the SCU behind it, because it matters. It matters.
Yeah, put that on phone.
You know what I'm saying? You can't just say SCU. You gotta SCU.
Oh, shit. KG is down for some reason. I'll add him again, but you go ahead, bro. So of these three teams for this buy-in match, SCU versus Best Friends versus Private Party. Who do you think is going to be the victor, Joe?
Honestly, SCU's over. They're white hot, bro. They can do no wrong. Everyone loves them. Best Friends they're like they're a great underground team. They do pretty well. I really think it's going to be between those two. To be honest with you, and I was surprised if it wasn't SCU just because they're white hot, and usually they do pretty well at these matches. Like I think they won the match against those Japanese cats that were there for the triple tag team match. So I think it'll be SCU. So I think they'll be the ones to take it. They're pretty much over, and the way to start the division probably would be the best way to do it that way. So, especially with like the Young Bucks and they need some good competition. I think them versus SCU versus the Young Bucks would be awesome. That would be a great match to have. So we'll see how that goes.
Okay. KG, you there?
Yeah, before my phone so rudely cut me out for some reason, I was going to say, I think I was in the middle of saying, I don't know if you caught that part, maybe you can go ahead and edit it. I know they were saying this might be the start to see who's going to get the first round box of the tournament to crown the new tag team.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that at the end. Yeah, so that's what the winner earns. So I would go with SCU just because it's one of those things where it's like similar to what happened with Jericho and Omega. It's like you kind of need that name to get that fan interest peaked, and potentially, like Joe was saying, you could get them matched up against the Young Bucks. And that'll be a huge seller, especially because like of the popularity of both of those teams. Even though SCU is kind of that Freebird thing with like New Day and teams like that. But I'm gonna go with SCU. Okay. Seems like SCU. Excuse me. Had to pause there for a second. It seems like they are the favorite between the two gentlemen, Mr. Joe Willie and Mr. Hot Take Kenny. I do know the people that are in SCU, so it would make sense, like you said, both of you guys said it, for this team to be the one to face the Young Bucks and have that notoriety with fans and make it a big event, a big deal for the crowning of the World Tag Team Championships, the AEW Tag Team Champs. All right, so seems like it's unanimous. Joe, can you say that name one more time?
Talk about I'm sorry.
I need the energy. SCU.
You said SCU. What?
SCU.
SCU.
Right. There we go. Okay, we're gonna move on to the hardcore match, which is also a buy-in match. Michael Nakawaza. I butchered his last name, excuse me. Michael Nakazawa versus Alex Jabali in a hardcore match.
Hey, listen. I'm not gonna give you guys no spoilers, but this is gonna be crazy. Like this is gonna be like, oh man, this is gonna be one of the things where you're like, I am uncomfortable watching this match because I feel like someone is humanly going to be immobilized. You're gonna like cringe a little bit. I think I've watched 2 matches of Otazawa. I think I have. I'm pretty sure I have. And he doesn't care. He doesn't care about his life. He doesn't care about you. It's gonna be something nasty. I think Alex did a couple PWG joints some time ago, and he's creative with chairs, tables, and whatnot. But it's gonna be a good match. It's gonna kind of be like a throwback to kind of the Attitude Era days when it was like the Hardcore Championship, when it was like in the ring, and you got hit with like everything, like old ECW matches. I would say similar to that, so it's gonna be a good one. I'm gonna go with let's go with Alex on this one. I'm going with Alex on this one.
All right. Hot Take Kenny.
I'm gonna have to follow Joe's opinion on this one because I'm a little bit unfamiliar with these guys. So like I said, I think I'm gonna be a little bit better served once AEW's TV show gets kicked off. My actual opinions as far as like the guys that are from different promotions that are not like NJPW.
Okay. Just to make it interesting, I will go with Nakazawa. I don't know too much about either one of these gentlemen, so just to make it interesting, I'm gonna go with the other person. And yeah, from there we will move on from this hardcore match to a women's match that is taking place with Nyla Rose versus Rio versus Yuka Sakazaki.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Nyla Rose in the last match really shined, but I think Kaylee won the actual match, and I think they brought Awesome Kong out the last time. not to sound a little crazy, I think because of Pride Month and because it is Pride, Nyla Rose will take this one. But it wouldn't surprise me that it wouldn't surprise me if she doesn't get over. But like this one's especially catered to her as being, I believe she's trans, the trans female wrestler. So I think she takes this one and I don't think she does it easily, but I think it's one of those things where it's just celebrate her and her movement, and also being able just to back her and just show a little diversity in good old AEW.
Okay, Mr. Hot Take.
It's gonna go in a similar route, should I say, or the phones start going haywire around me. From a standpoint that it allows them to be different. This is something first time ever in a U.S. major promotion they've had a trans person that was a wrestler, and basically, I mean, maybe other promotions have done it, but I know this is the first U.S. major promotion that has done that. They could definitely capitalize off that momentum. I mean, it doesn't necessarily take away from Nyla as a competitor, but it just feels like the smart booking. I know, like Joe was mentioning Pride Month. I know the Pride Parade is tomorrow in Chicago, so yeah, I'm going to go with Nyla as well.
Okay. I am going to follow suit with you two guys and pick Nyla for the W in this triple threat match, women's match. Yeah. Okay. So from that, we are going to go to Christopher Daniels versus SEMA.
Now, Christopher Daniels was saying he has history with this guy going back to when he first got started in wrestling, I believe, in Japan, if I'm not mistaken. So it's kind of a special match to him. It could be one of those things where it's like you get the nostalgia feeling. I'm going to go with Christopher Daniels. Just a little bit more familiar with him. And it just seems like you could basically use that storyline and get that match over. But I'm going to go with Christopher Daniels.
All right.
I honestly think this will probably be maybe a match that is just like, Christopher Daniels has been in the game for a long time. He's had so many matches with like AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, so many like really good ass matches. I think this one they'll give him the nod on this one. I think he's the one with the stage advice. Like he's probably the locker room leader in terms of AEW, just because he's going through so much, and he's with SCU. So I think we'll most likely go with Christopher Daniels for this one, and he's gonna take this one.
All right. I'm gonna follow suit as well on this one. Christopher Daniels, I know of him from his days in Impact. I know he was like a prominent guy there. As KG said, fused with AJ, and they had a lot of memorable matches. Samoa Joe. So SEMA, I'm not too familiar with. So unfortunately, this is the first time I've seen him. But yeah, man. So I'm gonna pick Christopher Daniels just because you want to kind of have somebody with notoriety too as you're building this AEW audience, you know what I'm saying, that's here in America, and he's a known name in wrestling, period, regardless of federation. So Christopher Daniels for the W.
Him and AJ, actually, I think they're so close. If I'm not mistaken, one of AJ's kids is named after him. Yeah. Like Chris, I don't know Chris Daniels' real name, but I'm pretty sure like one of his kids is named after one of AJ's kids is named after him. That's his best friend.
Some of the stuff they've had, like if you go back and watch those old Impact matches, those exhibition matches, bro, they're fucking crazy.
Yeah, they had a 5-star match against. I think it was like the only one in TNA history. I think it was the No Surrender pay-per-view with Samoa Joe, if I'm not mistaken. It was a triple threat.
Yeah, that was amazing, bro. Phenomenal, bro. No pun intended. That phenomenal. My bad. Sorry.
Sounds good.
All right. From there, we're going to get into this fatal 4-way match that has the following participants: Hangman Page versus MJF versus Jimmy Havoc versus Jungle Boy.
I'm going to go with Hangman here. I think it's pretty obvious. Like, you can't really be having him take an L on the way to the first ever AEW World Champion being crowned at All Out. Now, that's not to say he can't lose, because you could build some momentum and get some heat on Jericho by having him interfere in said match and cost Hangman this match. It's just I don't see that happening, just because you want to keep that momentum, I feel like, going for Hangman. If I'm not mistaken, this would be the second match, right, for Jungle Boy since his father passed, right? Luke Perry?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it's second.
So, I mean, it's going to be... You could go that route, too. He could have him go over. But, like, I'd be shocked, though, like I said. I know I'm kind of going back on what I said, my fault. But, no, I'd be shocked if he lost and there's no Austin interference, should I say. If Jericho interferes, then I could see that happening, too, though. But I'm going to go with Hangman.
I quite concur. Although I love Jungle Boy and he's amazing for what he does, I don't see him being the one to kind of take the crown, you know what I mean, and really lead. But you know, it would be awesome. Jimmy Havoc is, I don't know if you guys know, Jimmy Havoc is the old writer at WWE, and there was a wrestler, but he was like in ROH at first.
Yeah, he was in that rally they did when the Bullet Club invaded Raw.
Yeah, he was there. He was still a WWE employee. I think, it would be crazy if we didn't have to put Hangman over, but it would make sense if Jungle Boy pulled it out. MJF is an asshole, and that's why I like him. He's a great heel, like being a great heel. He's not there yet, but it wouldn't surprise me if he has some like heelish ass moments and he's a bit of a jerk. That wouldn't surprise me.
Because didn't he troll Bret Hart when he introduced the championship? Yeah. Like the fan was behind him to play off the Hall of Fame. And
yeah, he was incredible. Yeah, he's a jerk. You know, he's playing up the role. So all those things that he does. So I'm definitely going Hangman. Wouldn't surprise me, Jungle Boy won, but I'm going Hangman on this one.
All right. I agree with everything that was said in terms of Hangman Page. I do think you're going with the build and you're trying to make him look as good as possible, as strong as possible going into that match that's happening in August against Chris Jericho for the AEW title. But I do like Kenny's hot take about Jericho maybe coming in costing him the match, you know what I mean, to keep the feud growing, keeping that interesting and keeping the heat going, you know, for Jericho. So I would be surprised if we see a Jericho appearance, or if Jericho comes at the end and maybe attacks him or something like that too. But I do think Hangman is going to be like the obvious guy, you know what I mean, to secure the W on this one. All right. So from there, we are going to go to the boy, the American Nightmare, Mr. Cody Rhodes versus Darby Allin.
Yo. Let me get this started first. If you have never seen a Darby Hall match, bro, this dude is like all of probably like 5'6", 5'5", but it's crazy little motherfucker. This dude is like, okay, I don't want to spoil it for nobody who's gonna watch it, but you're gonna watch it and you're gonna be like, shit, this guy's fucking awesome. Like, it's gonna be, he's one of those dudes. He comes out like, they're like, what are those boots called? Damn. Like I think it's not. Is it Doc Martens? Little black boots? Doc Marten joints? Whatever.
Like the Jodeci boots?
Doc Marten joints or whatever. Mm-hmm. Little, like black, little black tights and ripped jeans or whatever. Like, this man look like a skater. But when he gets to like moving and wrestling and starting, bro, he's so, to me, he's like so creative, because some of the stuff that you see him do, you have to watch him like piece his moves together, because they're awesome. I wouldn't surprise if he goes over just because of his following, and just because AEW probably doesn't want to show Cody as like the supreme ultimate. But if Cody pulls it out, obviously it was meant to be. But it wouldn't surprise me if he does it. But you know what? Screw it. I'm going with Darby on this one, bro. I'm going Darby on this one, because I believe in him that much. I love watching him wrestle, bro. I am a fan. I'm going with Darby, bro.
All right, hot take. And hot take has dropped again. Jesus Christ. But let me go ahead and try to re-add him. And while I am in the process of trying to re-add him, I will go ahead. I have never seen Darby wrestle, but from what you just told me about him, American Nightmare, man. I didn't get to see the last match he had with his brother, Dustin Reynolds, Goldust, and heard so much great stuff about it. Saw the interest where he like basically destroyed the Triple H throne, which was a shot, obviously. But I think it's just all in fun. I don't think it's necessarily like any like heat between the two of them. It's just being competitive, showing the competitive side. But
yeah, sorry about that. No, I was.
Wait. I'm finished. I'm gonna finish. Then I'm gonna leave it.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so I think with Cody, man, he's promoting and he's booking this thing where he's not making himself like. I think he's doing it on purpose too. Like he's making it not about him per se.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And I'm really enjoying that part about him. So if Darby ended up winning, I think that would be cool. But I'm gonna pick the American Nightmare, man. You got to keep that notoriety going. You got to keep that streak going, and AEW is synonymous with him, at least in my eyes. You guys tell me if you agree or not, but I think you want to keep him looking strong too. You got to keep Cody looking strong. So I'm gonna pick Cody.
Right. Yeah, man.
I'm gonna pick Cody, but I wouldn't be surprised once again. Possible outside interference, maybe the old Neville now on the spot. Maybe he shows up.
Nice.
Because you're gonna need an opponent for Cody at All Out. Unless they go with a mystery opponent or something like that. Because right now, they've only have 2 matches announced for the card.
Because they're waiting on a certain Chicago-made individual.
No. Not gonna. No, we gotta let this die. We have to. Let's nip this in the bud right now. No. He'll probably come back to commentate. That'll be it. No, bro. It's not gonna happen. I realized that I didn't realize this is gonna sound bad. I didn't realize how good of a comic book writer Phillip Brooks is, and I didn't realize how like lucrative his like him being a comic book writer is for him. Like no, bro, he doesn't want to do it. He has no desire to do it. He did everything he could do. He's in a couple movies. No, bro, it's never gonna happen. It's never going to happen.
He said it was never going to happen, and then he did exactly what he said was going to happen. He would come in with a mask on and a hoodie and have a quick match on indie promo, and he just did that a couple of months ago. So I don't know, man. I think that the itch is still there, and at the right place at the right time. You're in his hometown. You're in his backyard. I don't know, man.
I think WWE just left a really bad taste in his mouth. AEW has probably what he'd be looking for, which I'm assuming is a lighter schedule. I still don't necessarily know if that guarantees will pop up, but at the same time, if we so happen to run into him, we'll make sure we're not yelling, "Hey, Phil!" if we know him, like that Black.
Because we will be there. We will be in the building, but we'll make sure we don't make him or AJ feel uncomfortable if we just come across them,
Bro, I'm not gonna lie to you. I know it's not gonna happen, but if it happens, I am going to lose my shit. I'm gonna lose my shit. Oh man, don't even let that music drop.
That's all it's gonna take, man. That's all it's gonna take. But who knows? It may happen. It may not happen. We just have to wait and see. But all right. So KG, who was your pick again? You picked Cody. Okay, you picked Cody. I picked Cody, and the man known as Joe Willie picked Darby. All right. So from there, we're gonna move into one of the main event matches, or main events. One of the things that people are definitely looking forward to because it involves the man formerly known as Dean Ambrose, a.k.a. Jon Moxley, who's been on fire since leaving WWE, and Joey Janela.
Well, we went to All In. I want to say that, honestly, that might have been the best match in the card. I believe Joey Janela faced Hangman in that hardcore match. That was a pretty dope match. But in that same vein, once again, you kind of want to keep momentum going for Jon Moxley. If you're going to have him face Kenny Omega, who most people consider the best overall wrestler in the world, you really don't want to have him drop any matches without, some type of outside interference. Now, that could happen possibly at their next pay-per-view, which is the charity event that they're doing in Jacksonville. So you could see that potentially happening where one of them costs the other a match. But I think you're going to have Moxley look strong, especially in his first official match with AEW.
All right. They have this thing called Introduction to, or like the Road to Fyter Fest. Like what AEW does is, and what Cody and his family does, they have like the Nightmare Family on YouTube. So they have like the promos, and they run those promos, and they set those up where you kind of get like an inside look as to who's fighting who, why they're fighting who. It's kind of like how Showtime and HBO Boxing do it before like the fight. You know what I mean? Like where they just like have interviews with people and do that type of stuff. So they did it with Moxley and Joey Janela. All right, if you don't know who Joey Janela is, Joey Janela, I would say, is a hardcore version of Shawn Michaels, fatter. He's like a fatter version of Shawn Michaels before, like with like Sensational Sherry on the side, but he's like a hardcore version, like not as athletic, not really as I would say not really like as like great prowess, but the bumps and what he does and his whole thing is just to be like in that lane. So by no means am I saying that Joey Janela is going to be compared to one of the greatest wrestlers ever. So no one please take that ever. But that's the role that he wants to try and be in.
I don't know, man. It kind of sounds like you calling him James Storm.
No, hell no. He's nowhere near James Storm either. No, hell no. I would say shit. But the best comparison I can give you to Joey Janela is a fatter, smaller Noam Dar, but like not as quirky, I guess. But this match, anyway, long story short, this match is non-sanctioned. It's a non-sanctioned match. So they can do whatever they want to each other. Because I think low-key, they dislike each other. Low-key. Because Jonathan Moxley comes out of nowhere, you know what I mean? Gets all the belts. Number one, he's the New Japan, I believe, junior heavyweight champion. Is that right? Or U.S. New Japan U.S. heavyweight champion. I'm sorry. So he's already got a belt on. He's not really worried about nothing. He out here, gang. You know what I mean? And Joey Janela just in the indies. You know what I mean? Just being an independent wrestler. And he doesn't understand why he has to face John Moxley and why there's so much heat on him, and he thinks he's overrated, and he says he's too soft. He's been in WWE. So John Moxley being the guy who has said, screw it. Let's do a non-sanctioned match and just let me kick your ass all up and down, stadium. So this is going to be good. In the words of Booker T, this is going to be good. So it's going to be one of those things where it's going to be really violent. Someone's going to get hurt. There's going to be a lot of bumps taken. All right? Someone's going to bleed, guys. It's going to happen. Red crimson masks everywhere. It's going to be awesome. I'm going to go with Jonathan Moxley, though. There's no reason that Joey Janela should win this match. But John Moxley's going to kick his ass. It's going to be awesome.
All right. So does the guy that is known synonymously, as KG put it, the best in the world to most wrestling fans, Kenny O, does he come out here and get some get back and maybe cost John Moxley this match?
I can't see it just because usually when someone runs interference, like I said, because I'm assuming Kenny Omega is going to be in the main event, so it'd kind of be odd to see him come out early in the night and then come back out later in the night and have a match. I mean, if they did run that, then you're going to have Moxley cost them that 6-man match later on in the evening. So I don't think he will. Like I said, I could see it maybe at the next pay-per-view. But, I wouldn't be surprised either. I think they just want
Alrighty.
with AEW.
Yeah, man. No secret here how I feel about the guy formerly known as Dean Ambrose. Like I said, he's been on fire since he's left WWE. Honestly, I was sitting back and thinking before we even got started recording, I said, man, I think Moxley has a chip on his shoulder as far as WWE not believing in him being a main eventer and being a guy that puts asses in seats to the manner and degree that they have done with his brother Roman Reigns and with his other former Shield brother Seth Rollins. And I do feel like even though he had the title for a significant amount of time, You know, they had him doing a lot of zany crap, and I felt like that stuff was taking away from his championship. And, you know, it was a reflection of, you know, his title reign too. And it's like, you know, you never had this guy look like, okay, he's going to be the definitive winner, even if he was winning, you know, and you put all of your titles on him, but you never made him look like the guy, quote unquote.
Yeah.
So I think that's why he's been out here. He's been on a tear. He's out there doing what he loves, you know, and if I'm AEW, I want to keep making him look strong, and I want to keep booking him to win. And you know, who knows? We'll see. Kenny Omega will eventually have a match with John, and I'm sure that'll cement his positioning in wrestling right now once that match transpires. And whoever is the victor, I think is going to be great for both guys. But for this particular match, I'm going with Jon Moxley, and I look forward to seeing Joey Janela finally. As I said, I haven't watched I don't know everybody from AEW, so this is like all new learning for me again, like how I was when I started watching ECW.
Oh, nice. Like I think KG said something that was pretty dope a long time ago. Jon Moxley is super underrated amongst the Shield, but all the top tier guys, like in WWE, he's the one that's had the best matches with them. He had that match with Triple H at Roadblock. His match was better than Roman's, Seth. He also had that match with KO for like the Intercontinental Championship. I would say that match was better than anyone with Roman or Seth. Even if you want to put AJ in the mix, I would say his matches with AJ a bit better than Roman and Seth as well.
Yeah.
So I understand where that chip on the shoulder is coming from, and you know, it's well deserved that he needs to be a main event.
Yeah. And when you brought those matches up, that made me think of his match. I believe they had that championship match. AJ versus Dean Ambrose versus John Cena. Yeah, and I thought he stood out in that one, and that he was really good in that match.
Like, good match, hell of a good match. Like, he was underutilized because he can be funny, so they tried to kind of harp on that, but he needed to be taken seriously. Like the whole rivalry with him and Seth, that's probably one of the best rivalries WWE had for a while. That was one of their best ones for a while, though. Like he's a force to be reckoned with when you actually give him something to sink his teeth into.
Yeah, and I really did feel like, everybody was comparing him to Brian Pillman at first, and I did get that feel from him, but we never saw him like really get into that bag. So, it's good to see the guy really going out here. Look like he's having fun out there again. So I'm happy for him, and much love to the gentleman formerly known as Dean Ambrose. But now we get to the main event. Much like how KG said, this gentleman is a part of it, and the main event is and the Young Bucks versus the Lucha Brothers and Laredo Kid, excuse me.
What? Wait, what's the main event?
Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks versus the Lucha Brothers and Laredo Kid.
Oh, that's gonna be awesome. Awesome. That's gonna be fucking awesome. Oh damn, who's gonna win? Okay, so all right, here's what I think is gonna happen, barring timing issues. If they give these guys enough time for the main event, like, because when me and Kenny were all in, they went overtime just because they had a bit of time for whatever reason. But if these guys get time, I'm saying the Lucha Bros are going to take this with Laredo Kid. If you haven't seen the Lucha Bros, again, disclaimer, Penta El Zero and Ray Phoenix. I've seen Laredo Kid twice. He's really good. They're awesome. It's going to be a lot of high-flying stuff. Young Bucks and Kenny Omega have cool stuff. They do a lot of cool stuff. I actually prefer, no shade, Young Bucks and Adam Cole together. It's just what I prefer. I like them better as a unit, not really with Kenny Omega. If I had to put Kenny Omega with anybody, it would be when he was with Golden Lovers, New Japan. That's probably the best team for Kenny Omega just because him, and I can't think of Buddy's name, but Bushi, there it is. Should definitely be like tag team forever, but it is what it is. But I'm going with Lucha Bros in this one just because I feel like they're due, because they just do too much. I'm surprised the Young Bucks go over, but I feel like they're due.
So I'm going to Lucha Bros in this one.
Hot take, Kenny.
Well, are the Lucha Brothers officially with AEW now? Because initially I thought they did the match, but are they like giving them that flexibility? Because that could depend too. Because I mean, at the same time, it makes sense. Like I said, you don't want to keep having yourselves go over as the executive vice presidents and also / wrestlers. So it makes sense to kind of have them do a job, but at the same time, like I said, you don't want to keep having the Lucha Brothers come back just a job every time they come,
Right.
to an event, because they just lost to the Young Bucks, right? The last event, and then they dropped the titles at a non-AEW event at another promotion. So I think I'm going to go with the Lucha Brothers, like I said, because you don't want to keep having them show up. I mean, granted, one of them doesn't have to take the pinfall loss. You could have Laredo Kid take the pinfall loss from Omega. But once again, we were talking about outside interference. At some point, not every match is going to have it. But, I mean, you could get more heat on Moxley because, they're going to want Omega to come in as the face. So you could have him cost him, even though the Lucha Brothers and the Laredo Kids aren't going to necessarily want his help. It would be one of those things where, like, they just they just take advantage necessarily of the situation, not necessarily if they want the help. Kind of like how WWE tie-in, how Ricochet pinned Strowman after Lashley and Cesaro attacked him. It's like, that doesn't make Ricochet a heel, but what are you gonna do? You're gonna wait for that person to get back up to their feet. So I think I'm gonna go with Laredo Kid and Lucha Brothers. Like I said, you just don't want to keep having them show up to take the L's at these events, because you also want them to look like a viable threat. I'm assuming they'll be in that tournament competing for the tag team championships.
With that being said, I agree 100% with Kenny in terms of storyline. It just makes more sense for Lucha Brothers and the Laredo Kid to get the W tonight. Looking for some chicanery. If Kenny O doesn't come out, he's obviously the face here. So if he doesn't interfere on John Moxley's match, then John Moxley should definitely, just by, wrestling definition and storyline definition, come out there, create some sort of a distraction. Even if the Lucha Brothers, Laredo Kid doesn't want the help, it still, helps them secure the victory. Doesn't necessarily make the Young Bucks or Kenny Omega look bad. So it's just good, good old fashioned wrestling writing where it's just the right move to make. And gonna go with the Lucha Brothers and Laredo Kid for the W.
Win. Win.
Yes, sir. And man. So that is the Fighter Fest card. Kudos to CBS Sports. That's where I got the card information from. Anything else y'all want to add to it, man?
I just want to say that Hot Take is now Team iPhone. We out here. We are out here now. We are unstoppable. No one is touching us. We gonna act like we don't know nobody. Team iPhone.
I definitely can't get this earring.
You get the earring. You get the earring. We are officially Evolution.
Yeah.
Or especially Black. Are we in? Version of Evolution, because he had that little brief run where he had those two guys. Can't think of their names in Impact, but that's basically all they were. They were a Black Evolution. It was MVP and like two or three other Black guys. I can't remember what the name of the group was.
I have no idea. I remember what you're thinking of, but I have no idea.
I don't remember.
I apologize immensely. I am not any help whatsoever because I cannot for the life of me think of it.
It doesn't matter. It's not important. But definitely want to thank anybody that listens to us. You guys have been being steady, checking us out. Not necessarily on Anchor, but you've definitely been checking us out on YouTube. So much gratitude, much props for that. Hope you all enjoy our match card predictions when we do these things. Before we get out of here, guys, can you let the listeners know where they can find you on social media?
I'll take you first.
Find me on IG at Hot Take Kenny. I don't have my Twitter active.
All right, Mr. Willie.
He'll be there at some point.
Yes, you can find me on Instagram at Joe Freeline. Last name Freelon. 3 lowercase r's because there is 3 of us and I am the last of the 3. Joe Freelon, 3 lowercase r's on Instagram. I don't have a Twitter, and I'll tell you why I don't have a Twitter. Because I don't feel like I'm really good on the cuff with Twitter. I feel like if I have it planned out, and that takes away from it, so I don't have Twitter. But I am on Facebook. I just share everything that's funny. Like me, follow me, subscribe to me, or whatever. I got shows coming up, all type of stuff. And make sure you follow the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Old Man Logan. Give me a handle, man. Let me know where they can see you at.
All right, man. You can find me on Instagram at oldmanlogan83. You can find me on Twitter at LegendKillerZo, and you can find my company Twitter, Know Me Media Group, on Twitter as well. I am looking for the gentleman really quickly. I wanted to shout him out for hitting that follow and retweeting us from our last prediction show. Where is it before we get up out of here?
Find him and thank him immediately.
I'm definitely trying to give him his props because he hit us up all the way from Great Britain.
I don't know anything, any lingo there, so I don't want to butcher it. So I'm just gonna say thank you, like heavy thank you.
Likewise.
Is it cheers? You guys, is it cheers out there? God, I really want. I feel like if I get an accent, that will just set me over the top, bro. Like,
I think you can go ahead and say cheers. I'm gonna look a little bit more. I don't think it was on my personal page though. So let me see what this guy's at.
What you guys gotta understand is that Old Man Logan is somewhat of a gigolo, so to speak, with social media accounts. He works in so many facets. He's a mistress to many of you.
All right. Well, I found the guy. His name is at WWE Wazam Icon. His name is Wazam Pervez, and as I said, he is a wrestling aficionado. He looks at Raw, SmackDown, anything on the WWE Network, as well as AEW. And yeah, man, just wanted to show him some love and thank him for checking us out and giving us that retweet. Really appreciate it. And yeah, man, this is another one in the books. All Out, All Elite Wrestling's Fighter Fest. And yeah, we done, man. So we'll catch you guys on the next one. What we got next? Extreme Rules?
I think it's Extreme Rules is next.
I believe.
About that.
All right.
Actually, it might be something good.
Okay, so yeah, we'll catch y'all on Extreme Rules. I'm out. Peace.
I see you.
Peace.
The podcast you just heard was made using Anchor. Ever thought about making your own podcast? Anchor makes it really easy for anyone to get started. It's a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing podcasts. Best of all, it's 100% free. Sign up now at anchor.fm/new. That's anchor.fm/new to get started.